No effects on this side.
Sorry, man. Hey, what's up, everybody? I believe Randy and I are now live. If you're seeing us, give us a thumbs up. Make sure we're doing this right. We're trying out a new software. Hopefully it works okay. Randy, you can hear me okay?
Yep. Oh, yeah. I can hear you loud and clear.
All right, very cool. So we'll give it a couple minutes for everybody to kind of log on, check in, say hi. Like I said, guys, once you're there, give us a thumbs up. We're not seeing Facebook, so we're kind of seeing it a little bit differently. So
I have a thing on the side here. I can see Casey's watching. What's up, Casey?
Oh yeah, I see it there. I have it down at the bottom. Hey, what's up, Casey? That's cool. So and we have a reaction too from Casey. Thumbs up. Awesome. Thank you, Casey. Appreciate that. So thought we'd try something a little bit different. Obviously, all the instructors have been doing live videos, and they've been doing a great job. They've been killing it with it, throwing great information out to you guys. Thought it'd be a little bit different to do a little bit of an interview type format. For those who don't know, my name is Paul. I'm one of the behind the scenes guys. Let's see. I see two faces and can hear you both, but I can't give you a thumbs up. Okay, great.
That's fine. As long as this face is in the screen. What's up? That's what you're here for. That's what you're here
for. And I
for.
apologize for the glare, guys. I'm sorry. There's not much I can do about it. So I own a school in the Boston area, Natick specifically. If in case you didn't know, that's where Violence Dynamics is going to be in a little over 3 weeks. And that's part and parcel of what we want to talk about today. Want to start off while people log in, a little bit something interesting. So I thought I'd ask Randy a question. We have this idea of asking each instructor about one of my favorite quotes. So Randy's got a lot of them, not surprisingly. But the one I wanted to ask about is something you say all the time. I've heard you say it on this podcast you host. What was that again?
I think it's called Talking to Savages. This is a small, tiny thing. It's not important at all.
Big in Germany, I hear.
Big in Japan. And Japan is our third biggest subscriber, actually. It goes the United States, Canada, Japan, and then UK. Weirdly, I don't know why Japan, but hey, Japan, what's up?
They supplanted Greece.
I slaughtered there. What?
They supplanted Greece.
Yes, they did. Greece is out. We're not in Greece. I guess our Spanakopita money's never coming in. Pretty sad.
Let's see, Allison. Hey, what's up, Allison? Looks like I don't hear or see anything. Okay, that's not good.
No, that's bad.
And Casey says, how do you pronounce my state? My state or Randy's? My state is Massachusetts.
I've been practicing Massachusetts. I got it now. I got it.
There you go. Book of Viodai in Japan. That would probably be Casey's ultimate fantasy, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, listen, it's from my show, Casey. Get off my back. Get off my back. Of course, if I can get a Viodai in Japan, we're doing it.
So, to my favorite quote from Randy, one of the things I've heard you say a lot of times is, I got stabbed. I don't know why, but people really want to listen to me. Maybe they should go listen to somebody who didn't get stabbed. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
100%. I think this whole Violence Dynamics thing is blowing up. So thanks to all the people watching. We really appreciate all the support and questions and the fans, and it's getting really cool. But I always find it strange that people are looking at the instructors that were unsuccessful in the thing that they're teaching and trying to get the information from them, when there are a lot of people that have been in knife encounters that weren't hurt, or people that have really good knowledge. So we have this issue as human beings that we believe that been there, done that is the ultimate teacher. And while experience is a great teacher, so is education, right? I would hate to go to a doctor who learned through experience only and zero education. So for me, when it comes to this, I just find it funny that, so I've had 18 knives pulled on me in my life, and 2 of them and 1 fork entered my body, which is why I have no piercings, because there's no need to do it. So my running joke, if you haven't heard it, is I've been stabbed 2.5 times, once in the face under my beard, once in the leg, which was supposed to be my neck, and then once by a fork in my forearm. And I'm honestly the most offended by the fork. It was just awful, and I'm very upset. But as a marketing guy, my instinct is to say I've been stabbed 6 times to count each prong of the fork. Right? Just makes sense.
You got to inflate it. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's what we do in this industry, right? We inflate. We take a kernel of popcorn and then we make it a bowl of popcorn, right? Almost all the stories I've heard in this industry are fish stories, right? It starts off with like, oh, that guy was outside once, and then he was outside with 2 people, 4 people, 8 people. There was a UFO. It just grows and grows and grows. And this
absolutely.
And I think what the Violence Dynamics crew is, it's really important is we're a little bit more based and rooted in the reality of our stories by telling like the aftermath of what happened. And so I just find it fascinating that people are obsessed with me getting stabbed. And maybe it's because they feel if they hear my story that they also won't get stabbed. But unless you're fighting the same dude, and if you find that guy, please tell me where he is. But unless you fight the same dude in the same situation, my story where there is lessons to be gleaned, it is not the ultimate testament or the ultimate crucible of knife defense. So I find it funny.
So beware of people with forks.
Yeah, they suck. So as we talk about adrenaline and adrenalized states, and I just ran an instructor's course for my crew yesterday and the day before, so I'm exhausted, hence the giant cup of coffee. But as we talk about stress response and freeze models and et cetera, it's just funny that so when I got stabbed in the face, it didn't hurt because adrenaline the stress response pretty much took care of that. When I got stabbed in the leg, I didn't even know what happened. But I remember all the prongs of the fork. Like, that sucked. My brain did not prioritize that as a major threat because it was in my arm. It hurt by far the worst of all the things that happened. I can't stand that fork.
So Tachypsyche was in full effect.
Correct. 100%. Yes.
All right, cool. All right, so coattails, baby, from Casey and Dan. Some people also inflate width-wise over time. Yeah, that's Jeff Berger's got a meme about that, I think.
And what's that? With what? Oh, yes, right. Dan, is that a shot at me? I'm working out, Dan. I don't want to hear that I'm fat, you bastard.
Less Grandmaster, more Stairmaster, I think is Jeff's Berger.
I love it. Jeff is, if you want a pot stirred, Jeff has the spoon. That's
If you want, I think of myself as brutally honest. Jeff's got me beat by an order of magnitude.
Me too. That's what I love about Jeff. I don't know if you guys know who Jeff Berger is. He's not even part of the crew. Let me throw more shout outs to him. When the most nerve-wracking time I ever taught was not in front of Rory Miller teaching ConCom for the first time. It was at Jeff's school. Because if you suck, Jeff will tell you suck. Right? So I was like, hey, Jeff, what did you think of my seminar? And he liked it. And I was like, all right, I made it. If he can get behind it, this is actually okay.
So via that question.
Yes.
Obviously, there is a lot wrapped up in attending a Violence Dynamics conference.
Yeah.
If you were to give I don't know that you ever do a 30-second elevator pitch, but if you wanted somebody to know, the kind of the big breakdowns of what would help them make that decision to book travel and make all the hoopla happen for the seminar.
Right. How would I sell them on coming? Is that what you're asking me? Like, what would be the...
What would you want them to know about the conference? What would you want to know to help them make that decision,
right,
kind of getting over the hump?
Yeah. I could probably edit down to 30 seconds if you want, but there'll be a story involved somewhere because it's me. Honestly, why come to Violence Dynamics? It's just, why would you go anywhere? It's for the quality of the product, right? Why would you jump on a plane and go to Aruba, right? Because you're going for the environment, the experience of the people. It's the exact same thing here, right? This is easy for me to say as part of the team, but one of the best programs I've ever seen. And I've done a lot of programs. I've been with a lot of groups. I talk to a lot of people. Talking to Savages gets me access to top level instructors all around the planet. Like, the people we're talking to is crazy. I firmly believe that Violence Dynamics is worth the investment in airfare, time away from your family, and hotel and food. And it hits at all sorts of areas. And I know we're going to probably unpack this later on in the interview, so I don't want to answer all the questions right now. But sure. It's just, whether you are brand new to this, whether you have a lot of experience, whether you have some trauma, you're going to find something in this tribe, in this group, where you're gonna gain something from it. I've taken conflict communications 14 times before I taught it the first time, and every time I gained something from it. Every time it helped me with something going on in my life. And if you are near or close to me, my life is very complex most of the time. So as Paul was a witness to for some of it. So
I saw some of it. Yes.
You saw some of the Randy outside drama. So I believe conflict communications alone is worth the price of the seminar. But other than that, just seeing how we present it, seeing how we stack things together, seeing how the team works together, seeing how nobody takes themselves too seriously. The second they do, the rest of us jump on that person like a pack of fucking hyenas taking them down because we don't want that ego getting out of control. we really want to make you the best version of yourself that we can. And that alone is worth the price. There's no ego involved. We don't want you to come to fill our Instagram with content. We don't want you to come to make us feel awesome or yes man us. We actually openly look for challenges in the curriculum. So I think, why should you come to Violence Dynamics? Because it's awesome. And the only way for you to see how good it is to witness it for yourself.
Cool. Very, very cool. You almost hit on something that I wanted to talk about next. What would you say for, I get this question a lot. I have no prior training. I've never been in a martial arts school. I've never hit something or been taught how to hit something. Is this appropriate for me? What am I going to get out of it?
Yeah, 100%. You have no bad habits we have to fix. So that's great. I actually would prefer for you to come. An empty cup can receive the most liquid, right? So this is great for every single level of experience. I come as a high level martial artist, maybe only high on Friday, but high level martial artist. But as we do this, honestly, I wish this would have been my starting point. And I think every instructor feels like this, right? So Paul, I'm sure you feel the same thing when you get kids coming in. You're like, man, if I was my teacher, I would be so much better now, because and it's just frustrating, right? And so when I look at the Violence Dynamics package, and then I look at all the other things that I've got, and I still go to other seminar trainings. There's a bunch of people I'm trying to train with this year. And this is not a shot at any of them, because who knows how big this gets, and they think I'm slandering them. I am absolutely not. I'm going to pay your bills by coming to your thing. But I really believe, like, if this would have been the place I started, it would have saved me a year of depression. It would have saved me. I still might have got stabbed, but I wouldn't have reacted the way that I reacted. I would have known a lot more about what's going on. And I was just outside the bubble of this, like, oh, wait, violence is a cultural and psychological factor as well as a physical factor. Like, that wasn't ever discussed. So when I first found this stuff, it blew my mind. It's becoming way, way, way more prevalent now. But one of the granddaddies of this, Rory Miller, is at this seminar. He's the one that wrote the definitive book. You've heard of him, yeah. I think somebody knows him. I think he's a big deal. I don't know though. He coined the term monkey dance, like the term that is consistently used in other books that I read. My current goal right now is to try and read outside of what the circle is reading, so I'm not just parroting the same thoughts. And so I was like all proud of myself. Oh, I'm going to read this book that I bet you nobody read. And as I'm reading this book, goddamn Rory Miller is quoted in the freaking book. I'm like, I can't get away from this guy.
What book was it?
A Professor in the Cage.
Okay, cool.
Really, really good book. I highly recommend Professor in the Cage. It's a professor that decides to do MMA. And so one chapter is on like the history and culture of violence, and then one chapter is on his journey to MMA.
Was he a math teacher?
I don't remember.
I remember hearing about a math teacher who went and fought in the cage.
Yeah. Well, there was, I think, like, wasn't Rich Franklin a math teacher or a social studies teacher? And Chuck Liddell was like an accountant or something weird. Yeah. Anyways, I
want Chuck Liddell as my accountant.
But anyways, yeah. So I think if you have no skills, this is the perfect place to start. This is going to give you a general, and I hate the word expert, but a very thorough overview of this entire subject. So you're going to come in, and if you have no reference point, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of stuff, but that's why you come again and again. And that's why, like, before I was one of the marquee people of the seminar, I went to this seminar multiple times, and then I weaseled my way in, as I do. And I got to the position I'm in now, but this is powerful, important stuff that I think everybody should know. So if you have no experience, awesome. If you have tons of experience, you're still going to get some stuff out of it.
So that's my next question.
Okay.
If you are on the other side of that coin, you own a school, you've been training for 15 years, what are you getting out of it? Because that's how you actually came to Viodai in the first place, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I came to Viodai. The first reason was I was at another camp with one of my mentors, Kelly Warden, and we were at Water and Steel. And Myron, a friend of mine, he realized that Rory was in Minneapolis. And we thought, yes, all the abs. He has a nice abs like Batman, like Lego Batman does. But he said that Rory Miller, who I've been ranting about the entire time, I was a huge fanboy, like unbelievable. When I met Rory, I was akin to a Japanese schoolgirl meeting a celebrity in an anime. Like, yeah, oh, you're Rory Miller. Like, it was bad. But when we drove there, and that's when I met who probably one of my best friends on the planet now, Casey. I met that weekend. So I met Mark McYoung, one of the other super granddaddies of this field. I think he's the first person to say reality-based self-defense. He started this. He was at least one of the very first forefathers of this kind of movement. And then Rory was there. There's a funny story that I won't say in public about the power dynamic I found between Rory and Mark, but I'll tell you. Come to Boston, I'll tell that story in person.
Boston, there we go.
For sure, I'll tell that in person with one or two whiskeys in me. I'll tell you everything.
I think that's our Saturday night barbecue setup.
Saturday barbecue. Yeah, come to Saturday barbecue and hear Randy's thoughts on things. But so we went there. We met Casey and Rory and Mark, and it was Doug Whisperers the year before that, and then it was Violence Dynamics then. So it was our first time we met everybody. We walked in, some guys nobody knew, so they thought we would be douchebags. We didn't know if they'd be douchebags. Then we all realized we were good friends, and it all worked out really well. And then I started going every year after that. So we went only for the weekend for the first time. And then after that, we went for the whole, when Violence Dynamics was 9 days long, we went for 2 9-day-long Violence Dynamics, and then I weaseled my way in, and we kind of have what we have now. So
very cool.
Anyways, to answer the question, because that was a story that doesn't answer the question at all. I was I believe, a high-level martial artist. I've been training my whole life. I have reality-based experience. I have trophies and all the same stuff everybody has. I was a doorman like every third person who's a martial artist right now on fucking social media. But I had some real-world experience. I had some tournament experience. I've competed. I've done all that stuff. And so I thought I kind of knew it all. But I'd read Rory's book, and I was like, oh, well, I fucking know this guy too, right? And I get there and I meet him. We did Logical Violence, which was not in the book that I read. We talked to him about that. And so what I love about Violence Dynamics is kind of what I love about, it's very similar to the method Filipino martial arts used to get really big, is they didn't say replace your system. They said add this to your system. Very Bruce Lee. Very like Jeet Kune Do was a meta system. Violence Dynamics is a meta system you add on top of your current existing program. And it'll fill the holes that you have in your current training if there is holes. And if there isn't, it'll just sharpen those edges. So when you come to Violence Dynamics, you might have read, you read some other people. Jeff Thompson, for example, is a great person to reference for defense and bar fights and whatever. You read his stuff, but then like that stuff is going to jump and make it better. I use Tim Larkin's example of social versus predatory or asocial, or whatever you're calling it this week. Social versus predatory violence against Rory's. And the reason why I like Rory's version better. But I only like Rory's version better because I fought the two in my head, right? So this is a really good place for you to be a better version of you as a high-level instructor. You can come and we can strip away the stuff you think is important or not important. We can maybe reprioritize stuff. We can show you some new things. We can give you, if you have self-defense written on your banner or on your sign, you haven't read any of Rory's stuff or any of my stuff or Casey's stuff or any of the stuff that's going around or any of the other thought leaders in this industry, not just us, then you shouldn't have that on your wall, because the beginning of my book, to plug the book that's not out yet, I'm only at 10,000 words in right now, but I'm a marketing machine, so everyone must know everything that's happening. The first chapter of my book is defining what your definition of self-defense is. And to us, self-defense is high and low level predators using legal and ethical responses to deal with that, where martial arts is not that. It deals with, it is self-defense, but if your self-defense is walking into a consensual fight in a cage, then that is self-defense. You are defending yourself, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about when it's 3 o'clock in the morning, you're stumbling out of the bar, right? You maybe took a little bit too much extracurricular chemicals at a party, maybe with your kids, maybe you're this. That's what we focus on. We're focusing on I believe, and my big focus is the civilian base of this. So if you're teaching civilians and you are a martial artist of a high level, this will give you the models and tools to have a working lexicon with your students, discuss higher level concepts. You'll have a definition for what this is, and then you can make them better. And it'll improve your program and improve mine. So I don't know, I'm pretty sure it'll improve yours.
I get to double down both as training geek and martial arts school owner. Yeah. And I have the exact same experience coming to and filling in the cracks. Certainly the difference between martial art and self-defense and being able to kind of pad all the weaknesses, which has been my own experience. So
yeah. And so I think if you're truly trying to get better at real world violence, and I say real world because a broken arm in a ring is a broken arm. It doesn't make it not real.
Yeah.
When I mean real world violence, I mean organic, non-opted in violence. Like you leave a movie theater and somebody jumps you. You didn't plan for this. You didn't get fight tape with this person. You just have to deal with it. I think this is one of the best packages to work with.
Cool. Very cool. You kind of already hit on this, but if you could give me a deep dive, you're a training geek like I am.
Yeah.
So not trying to insult anybody else that's out there, of course, but if you were to separate like what is Violence Dynamics as a conference versus any of the other seminars that you've been to in recent year or two, maybe, and again, not insulting purposes, there's some great stuff out there. Just what do you think is the thing that separates it apart?
Some people need to be insulted. We won't do it here, but some people could use a good insult, I think.
Barbecue.
Yeah, again, come to the barbecue. Hear Randy's thoughts. Here, I know you think this is unedited, Randy. This is edited, Randy. I know. These videos that I do, this is not me at around a fire with a whiskey in my hand. But anyways, I digress. What I think what Violence Dynamics does is, so for me, I believe I'm going to use the medical field as an example. Self-defense to me, the way I do my courses, because that's, of course, I think my stuff is good how I did it. That's why I did it that way. But how I teach my 8-week self-defense 101 course that we, again, just certify people in. Yay, people can do it. It's a first aid course, right? It's just a quick, simple, this is the most likely thing that's going to happen. If you're a paramedic, you don't need to diagnose leukemia. It's just doesn't need to be in your wheelhouse. There's no need to train that stuff. The more you train self-defense, it eventually becomes martial arts, because the what ifs eventually come to what if they're high level, what if they do other stuff, right? But for me, we got to start at the base of just realizing that most criminals aren't trained. If they were, they'd be doing something different, right? And everybody has this fantasy in their head that there's like a ex-Navy SEAL who wants to hunt them down, who's going to mug them. But if there's an ex-Navy SEAL running around, his job in a criminal organization is not mugger. Right? They're going to use that skill set somewhere else. Like, just think about it. So on that note, the people that are usually messing with you are pretty low-level predators. They're not really, really going to – I'm not saying they can't kill you. Anybody can kill you. Casey's daughter almost killed him. But it's a lower-level threat when it goes physical than it normally is. And any physical threat can go lethal. We have to understand that. But it's not as high a priority. So you don't need the complex skill sets that people are pitching that you need to have in most situations. Actually, most of the time, you can just not take that turn because it feels weird, or apologize your way out of most of the stuff, and you're going to be okay. If you're an accountant that works in a secured building, you drive your security embedded vehicle with 911 assist, and then you go home to your security system, you're probably not going to need any of this. It's just really cool though, right? It's neat to know and it's fun to have, and then it can be like that party stuff. It can be interesting stuff. I think I feel like I'm losing the question here a little bit, Paul. I'm not going to lie to you.
No, not at all. I was going to differences. And one of the things, maybe a linchpin, you talked about it earlier, is CONCOM. Mm-hmm. I guess maybe because kind of in many ways, despite being a verbal piece of the seminar, it is a really, really important, huge chunk.
Yeah, it helps with your whole life. And so anyways, I remember where I was at. Thank you, Paul. So that's what a good interviewer Paul is. So as we're going through this, what I think this does is it gives you the biggest generalist view of violence as a whole without getting super specific and nichey. And a lot of seminars I go to, which are not bad, they only teach one really small sliver of the encounter. So just like standing the ground. I teach that too, right? When we teach like out pieces. But I believe this seminar gives us the best general view of the problem that is violence and the tool set that is violence, right? And how to use it as a tool and how it's not evil, etc. So conflict communications is one of them. Conflict communications helps me talk to my loved ones better. Even though I learned it at a martial arts seminar, right? Because I'm going to say am, but I used to be a very, very angry person. And I didn't have a skill set to deal with that. And so I would just lash out and say stupid stuff. And I am good with words, so I would hurt people and I would freak out. And it was not a great experience for people that loved me because I was a handful. Even with CONCOM alone, that has helped me. I breathe a lot deeper now. I take a lot more, I guess myself a lot, because that rage is still a bubbling, but I can control that a lot better. So why I think this, I don't think this is better than anything else. I think this is a very superb product. I don't think it's better. I think everything, I say these on my lives all the time, but if your goal set is reality-based, real-world violence, this is the place you should spend your time, right? If your goal set is to win a belt, do not come here. If your goal set is to write the next essay on the fundamental triangulation in Taekwondo, then this is not where you should come. But if you're just a person who wants to learn about real-world violence, then I firmly believe that all of your training should go in the direction of your goals. It shouldn't be any superfluous stuff, anything outside of it. If your goal set is self-defense, if your goal set is real-world violence, if your goal set is to be just a better human, then this is the place you should go. So nothing better, always different. But I feel if the different I'm saying sounds like your goals, come to this thing. This is going to be the best one for it. Nobody else is doing what we're doing as far as I can see.
No, not that I've seen. And again, I'm a big training geek. So combining the mental with the physical and the legal with the ethical, there's just not a lot out there addressing all of those components as one big pizza pie.
I agree. And I don't know, a kick is a kick, a punch is a punch to me. Like, you can work that at home. Yeah. The soft skills package here is one of the most important things. And I had a great question come in. How long can this interview be, Paul? How long do you want me to shut up?
I don't know.
I don't know. I know there's more questions. I think we're like number 2 and it's been like half an hour. But I had a question come in.
Technically it's only 3 more, but
okay. I had a question come in, and please, everybody out there in Facebook land and social media land, use social media for the social aspect with me. Be social. I would appreciate that. Feel free to ask me questions at any point in time. My phone's always beside me, and I don't mind pissing my girlfriend off every so often. It's kind of funny. So I can be on my phone whenever I need to. So feel free to ask questions whenever you want. I think she's awake and heard that. I think I'm in trouble.
Hi, Leah.
I thought she was sleeping. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. We'll find out. So if you see a knife come this way into my neck, that's the difference between social and predatory violence. Live screen. But so a person asked me what's the difference between soft skills and hard skills. To say that term is thrown around a lot, and I didn't really have a good answer. I have one now. But it's just one of those terms that we use so much that everybody kind of knows what it is. So if you don't know, you're outside of the realm of knowing. That's my job. My job is to take smart people like Dr. fucking McCracken and Rory goddamn Miller, and then me to dumb that down into a 3-word dick joke so you understand the concept. That's my role here. So as we're doing it, soft skills are just skills that exist outside of the fight, and hard skills things exist inside the fight, right? So soft skills is learning the legal stuff in your world, is learning the ethical stuff, is learning how violence dynamics works, social versus predatory violence. That's all the stuff that doesn't happen in the fight. I consider soft skills. And hard skills are all the things that you need inside of the fight. So your counter ambush, your operant conditioning, your whatever. So hopefully that definition works for everybody. I didn't have a dick joke. I apologize. Go ahead.
This is where, again, the Jeff Berger reference. This was the Go Sao toy, I think, is what applies the most. I got another inside joke, guys. Sorry, you got to come to Boston for that one.
You do. I'm the grandmaster of Go Sao toy, right? That's what I got.
You were going to put it on your website. I don't know if you did or not, but
I think I did. I think it's on there.
It's funny. I have a couple more questions, but Dan from England just said, you need to get a sign for the barbecue. Randy's Rants, a live experience. Dan, we can't do that because Casey's already named it. Casey's Karaoke Corner is going to be apparently one of the linchpins of the barbecue that night. So I look forward to that.
It'll be good. 90% of the barbecue is going to be me and Casey screaming over each other and Rory shaking his head. That's most of the barbecue.
That is about and Tammy very quietly in the corner relaxing.
And analyzing us.
That's too late.
Tammy's going to send us a recommendation. Me and Casey just bang and get it over with.
Well, this kind of conveniently gets to the next question. Randy,
really?
What are you looking forward most? What are you looking forward to most at the Palisade MX in Boston conference?
The sex with Case. No, I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward. You guys like my best friends. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody and meeting new people and bringing this stuff out. Every day I wake up, even in slightly a bad mood, I remember that this is my job. Like, I get to travel the planet, hang out with cool people, drink whiskey, and then make people better. Like, that's amazing. So one thing I'm looking forward to, I don't think everything, the whole experience. Paul, I love you and your wife are awesome. You're great hosts. I'm excited to see you guys. I'm excited to get everybody in the room because if you talk enough on social media, eventually people get cranky pants. So I'm excited to get everybody in a room talking. So excited to meet all the new people. There's a bunch of people that are coming down that haven't been there. Seeing all the OGs. I've been working on a lot of new stuff, so I'm excited to get under Rory's skin with my theories on some stuff that I think he's wrong on. That's always fun for me. So
100% disagree.
I 100% disagree. So I think I don't know. I'm really looking forward, to be honest, and not to sound cheesy, I'm looking forward to meeting all of you out there, all the people that are watching this live that I haven't met yet. Because if you know anything about me, I like talking to people, and I'm excited to meet all of you and hear your stories. And every single person I meet has some kind of story that generally blows my mind and just makes me think outside of the box of my giant, loud male brain. And I think that stuff is super, super important. I think that's the most important thing for that is every time I talk to a new person, the next 100 people I get a better experience. So I'm just really excited to meet everybody and train and just do the whole thing. Violence Dynamics is a blast. It's a blast. I love it. So,
yeah. Next question was actually perfect. One of the things that we get at FAQ all the time is what is an OG? You just mentioned a moment ago you're looking forward to seeing all the OGs. What does that mean?
It's 2018. You can't say FAQ anymore.
I'm old. Leave me alone.
I'm just kidding. FAQ is not an offensive term. Frequently asked question, right? The frequently asked question is, sorry, what was it? What days I should attend?
No, what is it that makes an OG? What is an OG?
An OG. So I didn't really know either. This is Casey speak. So we have to remember, I think people forget because we fail up real hard that this started as Casey wanted to play G.I. Joe with his buddies. This whole thing was, I'm the G.I. Joe guy and I want to do G.I. Joe stuff with my friends. So I think that's...
Wait, hold on. What's changed?
Branding, I guess. We look...
The top quarter. There it is. What the hell is a quarter? Yeah. There it is.
We look...
Branding.
Whatever. We look more professional. I don't know. It is the same thing. And I think that's what makes it awesome, right? Going back to that first question is that this is just us having fun and trying to make people better. But an OG, original old guard or original gangster are the two definitions, I believe. And I think when Rory says it, he's saying old guard. And I think when Casey's saying it, he's saying original gangster. But it's all that means is somebody who's come to Violence Dynamics before. The cool thing about Violence Dynamics is if we meet you, we usually like you. We want you to come back. So unlike every other business model out there, we charge our existing customers less money to use our service again. So the really cool thing about, and again, I think that just shows the ethics of how important we think this is that we're not trying to make, obviously we want to make money on these things, duh. But we're not, that's not the primary goal. The primary goal is the pushing of the product and of getting people better. And so with an OG is somebody who's been to at least, I believe at least 2 Violence Dynamics, and they have a code name, and then we give you a cool code name, we get a picket, and then you get on a third one, you get a coin. I think it's Paul, you have your coin on you? Or do you have your card? I'll let Paul, yeah. So these are the coins, you have both of them? See, Paul is a nerd. So as I think mine's at the gym or somewhere. Luckily, you can't challenge me for drinks because I'm in a different country. But with the thing, you get a coin and you become part of the tribe, right? And there's groups where there's just OGs on and we talk and we try to make everybody better. But this is us being friends, right? This is our international group of super friends. So OG is you've come once, you've done the seminar, you've come again, you've done it again, and then on your third, I believe I might be wrong on this. Maybe ask Casey, he knows better, but. Then you become an OG, you get a code name, and then on the third one you get a coin, and then you're just in, and so you pay a lesser rate. So the reason why we say OG rate is a lot of people, we have a crazy, an unbelievable amount of people doing these multiple times a year or over again each year. It's an amazing, it's unbelievable to me seeing other seminars, right? Because you're never truly done with Violence Dynamics because not only is the material so heavy, it usually takes a lot of extra listens. We're always making it better, right? So my Context of Violence talk is going to look different than my Context of Violence talk did in October. My pre-attack Q seminar got sharpened because I did it at Paul's school, and so I have a better presentation on that. We're always working to improve and to make this product better. There's big changes coming in ConCom here eventually, so you got to pay attention. You got to keep coming to this thing because we're never going to stop trying to make this better. We're always going to take the best, most current research we have at the moment, and we're going to give it to you as fast as possible, as long as it's not crap.
Cool.
Yeah.
To that point, actually, so most seminars that people attend or are used to as a paradigm are 3 hours, 4 hours a day. Maybe you were just here in Natick and you did 2 days.
Yeah.
Viodi used to be 9.
Yeah.
it's now 3, maybe 4, depending upon where you are and how it's being attended. Why does it not follow that 1 or 2 day paradigm that's out there?
We can't. There's too much. It was 9 days, right? So there's too much information. We're always striving to create the best possible experience for the clients and for the people training. Anything under 3 days would be a disservice to the material and to the people attending it. So this is intended as a 3-day. So I guess maybe I'm big on clear, concise use of words. To me, a 3-hour thing is a workshop. It's not a seminar. So seminar to me is multiple days. It can be 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days a week. I guess we can maybe go into symposium here at some point for definitions, but like Vancouver was a symposium because it wasn't just violence dynamics, a bunch of people. Sure. But violence dynamics, the core material, is presented as a 3-day minimum, that's the bare bones we can do package to get all the information we need to get to you to make us sleep okay at night. So that 3 days is meant to do together, and it stacks on each other. So I don't know if you're getting this question lots, Paul, but we get the question of like, what day should I come to? All of it. You have to come to all of it, because if you come to Sunday, you're going to be lost because you missed Friday, Saturday, right? There's so much. It's such a cool symbiotic relationship we have with the 4 instructors in this thing, 5 instructors with Terry as well, that it doesn't exist. I've never seen it exist anywhere else. Normally, if you go to a seminar with 4 instructors, it's each instructor showing their stuff. Right? And then the next person shows their stuff, and it might not gel. And maybe sometimes you get some ego issues, and they're like, yeah, that stuff was garbage. Or you get that instructor in the background is watching, trying to be polite, but he's like, you know, how we do it is actually like this, and it's better because, and they're like stepping on that instructor's toes. I want to say we get none of that. We get 10% of that from one particular member of our group, but it happens very, very, very rarely, and it's always done in respect to try and make it better. Right. And so this seminar isn't, you can't just pop into like, oh, I like Casey, I'm just gonna do Casey stuff, right? It's everybody's stuff feeds on everybody's stuff. So if you're doing Casey's throwing class, but you miss Tammy's levers class, you're hooped, because he's gonna keep referencing that lever point class. Now, again, 3 days seems long, but the reason we do that is so it's not longer, right? So now people don't have to repeat the same information you're already given. So this is a package. It's a whole thing. It's 3-day experience. Why it's 3 days? Because honestly, it can't get any lower. There's nothing in there that we want to take out. We want the pre-attack cue so people know, have a threat matrix. We want conflict communication because such an important program. That's 3 hours alone. That's a whole workshop by itself. We want to have the counter ambush. We need to talk about the lever points. We got to talk about going to the ground because people go to the ground. We got to talk about the legal, ethical ramifications of using force on another human being. Like, there's just so many subjects we want to cover. And 3 days is so little that we are creating an online platform called Violence Dynamics to talk more about these subjects, because we just don't have enough time, right? And everybody has a different view and a different thing. If you watch, really cool thing happened in Vancouver, Rory did the context of violence talk, and that usually lands on me for most violence dynamics. Hearing Rory do his again, I was like, oh, right, I forgot about those things. I don't mention those things. But just because the class says, you have to look at 2 things. You have to look at the class and the name on the class, because Rory's threat assessment class and my pre-attack cue seminar, while we touch on the same stuff, are different classes. Rory in context of violence is going to hit different things than I'm going to hit in context of violence. Casey's going to hit different things in power gen than Tammy's going to hit in power gen. Me and Terry have a very similar counter ambush, but we focus on very different parts of that counter ambush. So not only is it cool that we get these subjects, but also you get everybody's view of these subjects. So because we rotate the instructors, right? So like I said, in Vancouver, I didn't teach context. I'm teaching context in Boston, so come that one because mine's the best, anyways. So come to context. So biased. But I'm totally modest. I have a word for modesty somewhere here. But as we go forward, I think that's the cool thing is this is pared down as small as you can get. And the way we do it is you get to see different people teach it. We have people who are the strongest at it. As I just said, I'm the best at the context of violence. I sadly am not the best at ConCom. That is Tammy's field. So but all of us are stronger in some areas and all of us are weaker in other areas, but we can all present it and you're going to get something different. And I use this example all the time. And I'm sure Paul, I used to host and tour, and Paul, you host as well, and you're doing little stuff as well. I think, right? You're gonna kind of move that direction. I'm not sure,
Probably.
but probably, yeah. So as we're doing it, it's a really fun thing, which is I might say, all right, everybody stay inside. And if I bring Paul to the gym and Paul says, hey, don't go outside, everyone's like, oh, don't go outside. Why don't you say that, Randy? I'm like, I say that every class. So I think it's funny because sometimes just somebody's turn of phrase or the way that somebody words something hits your brain in a better way, even though we're all saying the same stuff. Don't go outside versus stay inside might be the aha moment the student needs. And that drives me it used to drive me insane. I'm sure it's happened to Paul where they're like, hey, Casey was here and he said this. Why don't you say that, Paul? And Paul's like, I literally tell you that every day. It's in the credo for the gym, right?
Yeah, all the time. That actually kind of hits on. So I had a joke I was going to make. I'll make it now. Casey likes to use the analogy that violence dynamics is like the Justice League, right? So you got Batman doing his own thing and Superman doing his own thing. But let's be honest. The Justice League movie kind of sucked. And we're all excited about Infinity War. So I'm going to say you're more like the Avengers. Because an actual successful group. Sorry, Casey. Justice League was not good.
Garbage.
Right. So to your point, everybody's got their own skill set, but there's a common lexicon. I think I saw it. I'm 3 violence dynamics in myself. And the last one in Minnesota, by a country mile, you guys were really smoothly building. And that lexicon carried throughout all 4 days. Or I guess Casey made an interesting point here. So OGs, your first violence dynamics, you get a code name. Second one, you get your ID card. Third one, you get your coin. And fourth one, you get assigned to Fenrir Red Cell. I'll let Casey do the geekdom on that.
There you go.
But OGs are also invited that special day 0. And day 0 in Boston, are we allowed to talk about what the plan is? Or
I don't see why not. It's your show, bud.
Well, I guess. So Casey had the idea you guys are going to throw like a big topic up there. And then it's going to be almost all at the same time. Your perspective, Rory's perspective, Casey's perspective, Tammy's perspective, and that's 3-4 very different viewpoints, right? So I for the OGs, they get that extra opportunity, and it kind of highlights what is so cool. You know, Terry when he's at like Viodai Prime, I believe in Minnesota, getting those different viewpoints. Casey, go crazy! How dare you? Sorry, Casey. Let's be honest. Infinity War is going to be better than Justice League. It just is.
I cannot. I'm so like. I can't stand up just thinking about it. I got such a chub. I'm so excited for Infinity War.
Hard 5. Speaking of which, total geek moment. We are in Deadpool at some point, right? When we're in Boston.
Yeah, well, we have to. I'm going with or without you guys, so you better figure it out. We're going to do that.
So for those who don't know, it just so happens that Deadpool 2 comes out the same time period that Violence Dynamics is happening here. There's a really awesome movie theater, but I actually have to get the tickets now, or there's no way we're going to be able to go.
Agreed. Yeah.
So we'll have to coordinate that. Yeah, no, I figured.
Okay.
She's going to go. She's not going to. She's not going to sit out.
Ryan Reynolds is in it. Why would she not go to it?
That's a really good point. Yeah, I forgot about that.
No, she's dating me, right? So obviously she's a huge she has a Buffy tattoo on her ribs. Like she's all geekdom. So we're good.
Allison McDonald, I think, is in for Deadpool 2.
Awesome.
Do we want to read back through the comments, or do we want to just say goodbye?
I can't see them, so I'd like to hear them.
Okay.
My ego.
There's a lot of them.
Really?
There's 39 comments.
All right. We'll just skip all the ones Casey bitching about Just League sucking, and then we'll get like the 3 comments that are left.
Marcus Lind. Just joined. Who's that handsome bearded guy? I think you've got 2 options here, Marcus. The Boston guy. Yeah, that's me.
That's Paul.
Dan. I like this. Casey, doesn't Randy have an award that says fitter than Casey?
I do. I do have that award. It's
Pretty
probably
cool.
not true at this exact moment because I have been garbage for training, but I do have an award that says that.
Yep. Casey, we are not going back to 9 days of Viodai.
Never.
No.
Casey, you know how people are coming now? Yeah, that's why.
Randy's having good influences. Go with that.
Yeah.
We will burn lowercase t's for teamwork. What's a lowercase t?
That's a KKK joke.
Oh. Oh, God. Whiskey Pa Kolsch. I'm not drinking Kolsch. I've heard that stuff's awful. Sorry, Marcus.
I'll drink it.
Robert Thomas, thanks for checking in. Yep, glad you guys are enjoying all the information and knowledge. Odin's Gun Gear. Yep. Badass. Tammy is a badass. Yes, Allison. Well, yes, Allie. Allison McDonald. Allison McDonald, 9 days equals divorce. That's a true story.
That's exactly it. Oh, I can see the comments.
No one can see Randy's boner, so let's not get crazy. That was Casey.
He's not wrong. He's super white.
And never skip.
In my caption contest on the Randy King live page, somebody made a micro penis joke. It was pretty solid. Pardon?
Just one?
Yeah, I was actually shocked. Only one person literally went below the belt. Only one.
Oh, they were being nice. And we'll finish off with Casey saying never skip a Casey comment.
Always. He misspelled always. That's okay, though.
Did he? Never skip
No.
I was like, wait a minute. Hold on. Where is that? So thank you very much for doing this. I'm glad. It seems to have gone well. 45 minutes was probably a little bit longer than intended, but
yeah.
Randy, I knew it was going to be very, talky. So
you have almost 10 questions, Paul. You freaking formatted this.
There's 7 of them. It's not my fault that there were extra cool, interesting things to talk about. So we're going, for those who are curious, I'm going to try and do this with Tammy and Casey. In theory, Yoda himself, Rory, at some point. We'll see if I actually manage to pull that off or not.
Sure. Hold your breath for that, everybody. Make sure you hold your breath.
Just have to fly to Dagobah to make it happen.
Exactly.
So thank you guys very much for jumping in. Glad you guys for viewing. This will be up on the Facebook page. Bye, guys. Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.